Over the course of my estate agency career so far, quite a few people have asked me, how do I become an estate agent? I'll start by telling you the thing I always tell them. The job isn't what it seems from the outside. Hello, I'm Elle Wood. There are quite a few programs on the telly that make it look as though all you get to do is wander around glamorous homes and wait till the people you're with happen to fall in love with one of them. Now, that is the best part of the job, but it's not the main part of the job. And those entertainment programs can often be misconstrued as documentaries. So, what is the job? It's a lot of phone calls, it's a lot of driving, and it's a lot of rejection. You've got to be a pretty resilient person to enjoy the cut and thrust of the estate and lettings industry. How do you go about getting the job? The first thing to think about is your CV. This is basically a list of all the things you've ever done in your life, work-wise. That can include some hobbies. So people at the very end might say things I enjoy doing, reading, playing golf, socializing. But those aren't the bits that are really going to show us the sort of person you are in a work environment. Now, you may not have done a huge amount in your life for whatever reason. Maybe you've just come out of school. But you can still jot down things more than just your name and phone number. A few titles of the jobs that you've been in and a brief description of the things that you've done during those roles. Think about what being an estate letting agent might involve. It's a lot of relationships. So if you can write down in some way that you've got good customer service skills and evidence it, we're more likely to think that's someone we could work with. You don't have to have had estate agency experience. Often, the best estate agents didn't start out as estate agents. Some of the best people we've ever worked with have been bar staff because you're used to handling drunk people who have a lot of things to say. Well, if you can keep your calm in that situation, you can keep your calm in estate agency, no problem. The other thing to think about with your CV is whether or not you should add a covering letter. I think some people don't even know that you can do that. So where your CV looks like more or less a list, your covering letter is an opportunity for you to show how professional you can be, how dynamic you can be, how confident you can be. Here, you have a chance to describe what those job roles or experiences have given you and how you've evidenced, how you can evidence to us that you're the right person for the job. Do you want to know my top tip though? Don't just email that out to people. Don't just pop it online and hope for the best. Why not print it off and take it into the offices of the people that you want to employ you? Ask for the owner or the branch manager and explain yourself. Do you know, you'll look so confident and dynamic, you'll really stand out from the crowd. And that's a really key thing in this industry, is to make sure that you're confident and capable of talking to other people, because that's basically all you do all day, deal with people. The other thing to think about, the next thing to think about. So you've taken my advice and you've secured yourself an interview. P.S. It might not happen straight away. It can be quite a fluctuating marketplace in terms of job roles. So don't be surprised if you don't hear from us the next day, for example. Sometimes these things can take a little bit of time. Be patient. Don't hesitate to chase us with a phone call just to check in, but do be patient. So anyway, putting that aside, you've got to the interview. What is the worst thing you could possibly say? No, the worst thing you could ever say is, I've always been interested in property. Do you know how many times we hear that? And it's nonsense. What does it evidence? What does it demonstrate? If you're that interested in property, maybe you should be an architect or a surveyor. Estate agency is about people, not really about property. Of course it is, but do you know what I mean? You've got to be far more inventive, far more exciting, far more excited about what you're about to take on. Bearing in mind 90% of the job is, what did I say at the beginning? Rejection. So at your interview, make sure you don't tell us that you're really interested in property. Don't evidence that you love homes because you watch Homes Under the Hammer. That is not going to cut the mustard, I'm afraid. Instead, we want you to shine. Show us your best self. Show us your most confident and strong self. We want people that we're able to train to really hone these skills. There's a lot more to it than it looks from the outside, and there's certain ways of saying certain things to help influence people's decisions in order for them to realise that their wants are not as important as their needs when it comes to their property. You've also got to be able to keep your cool. You're going to be dealing with people in pretty fraught situations at times. It can be a very stressful job because you're dealing with very stressed people. Moving home isn't always easy. It's not always for an exciting career move or something positive. So you've got to be able to be very empathetic and kind whilst remaining strong. The other thing to think about at your interview is your clothing. Make sure you're presented well. That doesn't mean you have to be in a suit and tie, although if you've been into the branch and noticed that's what the others are wearing in there, it's probably worth mirroring that. Lots of estate agents these days just wear something like this, a smart casual top. I had one young lady come for an interview and she'd made a big effort, but she was wearing the sort of thing you'd wear on a Saturday evening. Very tight dress with cut out sides, and she looked amazing. Not quite appropriate for the office. Make sure you look smart and tidy. Those are the most important things. In this job, we dress to please, not to impress. You never know who you might meet, so you've got to make sure that you appeal to the broadest possible contingent of the public. Not an easy task, but it's doable. If you have any other questions about becoming an estate or letting agent, don't hesitate to get in touch. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.